I'm outspoken, and I always have been. I try not to be a knucklehead about it, but I'm going to voice my opinion in a polite way. Vitamin companies don't like me because for 20 plus years I have been an outspoken advocate of quality control in the vitamin industry. Now, not all vitamin companies are created equal. Not all vitamin companies do all of the requisite testing that they need to do to ensure that the stuff in the bottle meets the label claim. They just don't do it. You know, I've looked at a number of vitamin companies over the years, and I, as a naturopathic physician, by the way, I have access to vitamin companies that you've never even heard of, because there are a whole host of vitamin companies whose target market is licensed physicians. There's a whole host of vitamin companies the layperson hasn't even heard of who just sell stuff to licensed physicians. And these companies have higher quality stuff than the stuff you can get at the health food store. You know, they're called nutraceuticals, right? It's high quality, high potency nutritional supplements sold only to physicians, for goodness sake. Can't get this stuff over the counter. And there's hundreds of these companies. And as naturopathic physicians, you know, we are approached by these companies all of the time because we are their target market. We are their target market. So in this arena, I have a great deal of clinical experience, and I also have my fingers on the pulse of this industry. And in over 2 decades of clinical experience, there really are only 4 vitamin companies that I trust. 3 of them only sell to physicians, and the 4th company is Longevity. Longevity is actually first on my list because not only are the Longevity nutritional supplements made by a company who has really, really good quality control, but their recipes are impeccable. And when it comes to vitamins, these are the 2 things to pay attention to. The quality control mechanism in place, the quality control structure that company has in place to how they track the purity and the potency of their products, their raw materials, and their finished products. It's a big deal. Most companies don't do it adequately. And number 2 is the recipe. Because even if you have impeccable quality control, how you put the supplements together makes a giant difference, you know, because a good metaphor here is chicken soup or wine. Let's talk about wine. All wine is made from grapes, but not all wines are created equal. Annie Boone Springs green apple wine is quite a bit different from a nice California Cabernet. They're all made from grapes. What's the difference? Great deal of difference in how the grapes were harvested, how the grapes were grown, how they were harvested, the amount of grapes, the different varieties that were put into, the fermentation tank, and how much yeast and how much sugar and how long it was aged and the temperature that it was cooked at, and all these variables go into making one bottle of wine really most excellent, and another bottle of wine, not so much. Well, if you can have that much variability just with grapes, think about how much more variability you're going to have with 16 different vitamins, with 12 different amino acids, with 60 different minerals, and with 2 essential fatty acids for a grand total of 90. Well, you're going to have a remarkable degree of complexity here. So with vitamin supplementation, once you have the quality control handled, the next most important thing is the recipe. And Longevity's recipes are informed by $25 million of federally funded research in which we did 26,000 autopsies, 10 million blood chemistries and histopathologies, and then we took all of that data and applied it with patients in clinical settings for decades. Longevity's recipes eclipse everybody else's, and because their quality control is excellent, that's why their products are the best.